now tuned in to another episode of By Any Means Podcast. You already know who I am, the street consultant. I have my co-host, the Podfather himself.
What's happening, everybody?
And as you can see, we different location, home of a lot of drips. Used to be Burning Barbecue. Now a lot of drips. 7917 Flower Avenue, Tampa, Florida, right here in Progress Village, man. Y'all come check them out. But today we got a special panel today, OC.
You said what?
We got a special panel today. We got a couple females up here today, so you got to. So I'm gonna introduce these lovely ladies. On my far right, we have Miss Andresia Jackson, the owner of More Than a Mom Network. So, and then next to me, we have Miss Tiffany Hutchinson, the creative director. And we gonna dive in what More Than a Mom Network is, and then talk about some of those things that go along with being a mom, being a woman, and being a woman of color here in America, and just everything that comes with it. So without further ado, I'll let Ms. Jackson speak a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Like More Than a Mom is basically an organization that allows moms to know that there is life outside of motherhood. What happened is I was a mom. I knew it was so much more than just having to go to PTA mom, basketball. I didn't want to do what I saw my mom do. Okay. So it got old real quick. Some people think that's real insensitive, like you don't need to be a mom.
But just the routine of
the routine, just going in, doing the same thing over and over and not having a life. So a part of me was gone. I didn't know who I was anymore. So I decided to do something different, found out there were other moms that felt the same way, and that's how we started.
Okay, yeah. And what's the mission of More Than a Mom Network?
The mission of More Than a Mom is to help them look outside of the box of just being in a mommy box. Mommy box is you're taking care of your kids 24/7. There's never a break time. You need to be able to reconnect with who you are as a woman. So we really want them to understand that basically you can be a woman, have all that feminine touch, and put yourself first, and still be a great mom. And don't have to worry about any judgment. I don't allow them to judge themselves, and we basically tell the world, fuck it.
That's real. That's real.
I'm gonna do what I want to say, as they would say, "Fuck the kids."
Yeah. Hey,
literally,
I done said that a couple times.
Yeah.
I might have to make a More Than Dad network.
You do.
I said it a couple times, at least a day.
Yeah, you do, because it gets to the point that I have teenagers. So when they were younger, I was always in the PTA thing. Now they're older, I'm always in my car because I'm driving them everywhere. Correct. So I need that time away. I need that time with other mothers that are not judging me because I just said I ain't want to be bothered with my kids today.
Definitely. And yourself, how do you come in the situation, Ms. Hutchinson?
I'm new to the More Than a Mom Network from a creative director standpoint, but I have been part of More Than a Mom since I moved here to Tampa almost 5 years ago.
Okay, wow.
And we connected through the Single Mom Network because I didn't know anybody here, and I was at the point where I didn't even wait till he was 3, and I was like, there's got to be more than this. I had 3 years, it was just like, nah. And I think for me, like, I became a mother later. I was 33 when I had him, so I was fully aware of what life was like without a child.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I miss that. I don't wanna completely lose that. And I knew that I could still keep who I was and who I was becoming and be a great mom to him. And I knew that I'd be better for it. Because, like, day in, day out, you're with those kids. You don't want to get resentful and start taking it out on them. They didn't ask to be here. And so you've got to take care of yourself so that you can take care of them to the best of your ability. But I've been going to events. We became friends outside of the network. And then I would say, like, COVID hit, and she was trying to figure out, like, how to keep More Than a Mom going.
Okay.
And started to feel like maybe she should put it on the back burner. And I was like, nah, bitch, we need you. We need you now more than ever. It's COVID. We are round the clock with these kids. Yeah. We need an out. And so we just started to get creative, or she started to get creative, really. And I was more of like a sounding board. Okay. And I just refused to let her, give up. And then recently,
she wouldn't let me stop.
And recently she was just like, maybe I should start, maybe you should just come in, because those 5 a.m. text messages like, what do you think about this? It was just like, okay, this is we gonna
We gonna
get
do-
going.
we gonna
do
go head
it.
first
like
and
if
then
you
stand
want
together.
me all in, we gonna get all in and do it. So
Okay.
you know, we're coming out of the pandemic. We're trying to get creative of how to like re-engage our moms because you know time had passed and we don't want them to forget about More Than a Mom. We want them to know that we haven't forgotten about them, and so. We're just trying to, you know, summer we outside.
We outside.
It's outside for More Than a Mom Network.
We outside.
We outside.
Okay, so what are some different things that y'all do within the network to kind of help those moms out?
We host events every quarter.
Okay.
One of the things that I realized is our moms like to have brunch. We like to go places. And because it's Sunday, and initially when I started More Than a Mom, I was a Sunday school teacher. I know you may not think
Oh
that,
wow!
but I know, right?
No, not teaching. Not with that mouth. We just heard.
Listen, the Lord know my heart. He know my heart. He know my heart. But I was a Sunday school teacher, and then I had the kids. So then they had kid choir, and then it was just a whole lot. So I was like, when
Yeah.
can I do it? Fifth Sunday. So fifth Sunday, we started off with just moms and mimosa. It started with 25 women. That's
Wow.
how we started. And we started right there at Jackson Bistro in a little small room. From there, I was like, okay, well, they need more. They want more. So every month, it seemed like initially we were doing something. And at that time, it was themed. So we would have Mom's Mimosa and Men, Mom Mimosa, and makeup, Mom Mimosa, and finances. So we kind of just moved all around through that. Then we hosted a momcation where we allow our moms to come and stay with us for 3 days, and I pamper them. I do
Okay.
everything for them. All they have to do is just show up.
Wow.
And then, as Tiff said, COVID hit, and it was like, what do we do? We were tired of being at home. A lot of my moms work from home, so we needed
They was
to be
ready.
outside.
They was ready for that
Yeah.
Moms and Men event again.
We ready
Just
to get outside.
imagine.
We got outside. So I introduced what we call now Wine and Wings. I didn't want to do the normal Wine Down Wednesday, anything. I needed something different. We
Okay.
went outside, literally outside in the park.
Wow.
I know, right? We went outside. We had a park. I provided wine. They provided their own wings, or I would do it for them. And we, at that one, we just had mom talk. We didn't have to get all cute, no makeup, no none of that.
Yeah.
We just celebrated being a mom and talked about the reality of what we liked, what we didn't like, everything.
Wow.
And so now, 5 years in, we have decided to officially go international. So we're taking our momcation out of the country. Yep.
That's what's up. That's what's
Yep.
up.
So
That's
this
what's
year we're
up.
going to Costa Rica.
Okay.
So we're doing things. My biggest thing is to give mom experiences.
Okay.
We know what it is to be a mom. We know what it is to sit in Tampa. But what else is there in Tampa? So I always make sure we have locations that either they've never been to or never would have thought to go to.
Wow.
So we don't want to do the normal. You're not going to see us at Chili's.
No.
No
The
Chili's.
Applebee's 2 for $25.
No.
None of that.
None of that. We're not going there.
leave.
We always try to give them an experience so they know that even though you're a mom, you're so much more.
Correct. Yeah. And speaking of that, being a mom and going along with kind of your mission and everything else, not only you're a mom, but you're a woman first.
Correct.
So then, like tapping into that, like how is that struggle?
Real. The struggle is real.
It is.
Is it? I mean, I struggle sometimes, but so
He want to be a woman so bad. So bad.
Ooh.
I ain't
That was
finna entertain you.
unique. I wasn't even ready for that
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Please leave him in the corner.
one. Okay, I wasn't ready. I'll let Tiff take that one because she's helped me with that.
Okay.
I mean, the struggle is real. It's you have to first you have to acknowledge it, right? So like we've gotten really good at being like, I'm not okay today, and just like checking in, whether it be with each other or like even with my day job. Like I'm quick to text my manager and be like, I can't do it today, and
Yeah.
she's like, all right, enjoy, come back tomorrow, refresh. So you got to check in with yourself, definitely. And first acknowledge that you're not okay and that it's okay to not be okay. You don't want it to get to the point where it's out of control.
So how do you know to the point that it's out of control? Like, what are some
I mean, I
maybe
think if
triggers
you're,
or
yeah, I think if you're just like
When you say
feeling
fuck
if you're
them kids,
if you're saying
literally.
fuck them
Literally.
Literally.
kids, if you're
not in a playful mood?
No, well,
Right.
in a
If you-
playful mood, but in that same breath, when you just feel, you can feel it in your chest. You can
Okay.
feel it in your mind. You know something's not right.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
Yeah, I mean, some days it's just like, all right, as long as he is kept alive and he has eaten, that's all that I have got today. Like,
Hey.
I have nothing else for you.
But see, you got a boy, so that's really all we need.
Yeah, well, she has 3 boys. I have 1 boy, but my son is autistic, and so
Okay.
I know when I can't give him like all he needs, like I've got to check in because he needs 100% of me all the time. And I think I've learned that because having a disabled child, like there's no end in
Yeah,
sight for me.
correct.
Like it's not like when he turns 18, he gonna be gone.
Yeah, mine
He might
definitely
be-
gone.
He-
They already know.
he might be with me, until whenever.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can't be like, I'll live my life when I get him out. What if he is never out? Like,
So
I'm not okay not.
how is that struggle? Because like for me, you know what I'm saying, having my kids and you know what I'm saying, healthy, and they, God willing, they don't have any disabilities. Like I always, obviously, I know people who have kids with disabilities and stuff like, and I like, be honest, like I don't know if I could be strong enough to.
Well, to me, I have nothing to compare it to, right? So
Yeah.
he's my only one. And so people ask me all the time, like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how she has 4 kids. I can't relate to that. I don't know how you.
That's how you felt.
Right? I don't know. Like, it's relative, right?
Everybody
like, I don't
throwing
know.
shots right there.
That's how she felt. You know,
It took us to come hit him here. Like,
people who have twins. I'm like, I don't know how
Yeah.
you do it. More than
Yeah.
one for me. Like, I can't relate to that. Like,
Yeah.
he is all that I have known. And so I only notice a difference if I am around other people that have one child that are his age. Other than that, he's my one and only. So our
Yeah.
day to day is like what it's
It's
been
normal.
for the past.
Yeah.
It's normal for me.
Yeah.
And truth be told, like it's got to be a mindset, right? Like I can't go through life being like, he's disabled and focus on what he may not ever do. The
Yeah.
goal is to always get him to be independent and out the door. But I'm also aware that like that may not happen.
Gotcha.
But my day to day is not focused on that. My day to day is focused on like
Improvement, growth.
improvement, growth, how to get him independent because he's smart as hell. There's nothing that he can't do.
But
He's gonna-
I find that like kind of like always to be the case though. Even kids that have those disabilities, they're extremely smart
They are.
mentally.
They're
They are.
super smart, and it's not about what they can't do. It's just a matter of like them doing it in their own time, and they may do it differently. And so, as a parent, you just got to check your ego at the door. Like I just, I always say like,
As long as you get the 2,
right, he's
3
not
plus
my,
1, like,
he's not my like he's his own person, right?
Yeah.
And so like I was when I got pregnant and I had this whole fantasy in my mind of like, oh, I'm gonna be that mother that did this and did that, and my kid is gonna play piano and play basketball and play with, and he's just like, fuck you, I don't want to leave the house. And so it's just like
at all.
okay. 2 years ago, I tried to get him involved in soccer. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a soccer mom. Let's try to be a soccer mom.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
And that
Said
shit didn't
soccer
work.
move.
And I sat in the car and
Well,
cried. And
well-
he was like, can we go to Target?
well,
and
guess
I'm
what?
like-
You can still be a soccer mom. I know she need help.
Listen,
You can pull
they
the
grown.
cooler.
They're
You can pull the
old.
They're going
cooler.
to work now. They're
They
not going
going
to
to work.
soccer.
They
They're going to work.
Oh, your mission almost
Word.
complete then.
Yeah, Lord, thank you. Yes.
She's
Mine
on the
are,
other-
let's see, Lord. Okay. 17, 16, 14, no, 17, 16, 15, 13.
You see?
Wow.
I don't know. It was so many,
Yeah.
many of them, and they were back to back. I had stair step. I was in love, so I
Okay.
had them right back.
I got 13 and 14-year-old. They about
Yeah.
11 months apart.
Yeah.
With Irish twins.
Irish twins.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So I know with that being said, having kids back to back, I don't know if this is your situation, but that's hard for a lot of moms, like mentally.
Oh, God,
like
yeah.
Postpartum depression
Yes.
kind of sets in,
Yes.
and everything else.
Yes.
Was that the case with you? Or?
Yes, I was postpartum with 2 of them, and it's so ironic, the 2 that I was postpartum with, my firstborn and my last. My firstborn, it was bad. I went to sleep, and I would wake up in the night thinking somebody was trying to come in the house and take the kids.
Wow.
I was paranoid about anybody touching him, so I would never allow anyone around him. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. And then with my daughter, I had postpartum really bad because it was a girl. Now, mind you, my son, I'll tell you this story. My son, 9 months, we went and it was Alexandria.
Okay.
It was, you're having a girl. So I thought I was done.
Yeah. I got my
Laying on
girl.
the-
I'm out of here.
I'm done. We done. We ain't gonna tie me up, doc. Laying on the table, even in technology, laying on the table, I hear them whispering. I'm like, well, what's wrong with the baby? Something wrong? Something
Yeah.
not there? There's like, it's a boy. What the hell you
it's-
mean?
It's a boy.
I was like, what do you mean it's a boy? And they was like, it's a boy. We made a mistake. How? How did this happen? And so for
Yeah, I need to go back in and
Yeah.
reverse.
So for 48 hours, I didn't have it was it.
Wow.
It was the baby.
Yeah.
And then a nurse came in and was like, come here. She took me into the NICU and she was like, listen, your baby's healthy. These babies are not. Suck that shit up and let's go. So then I took him back, had Anderson. Then my daughter came. And I think what even started the postpartum with her, I delivered her by myself. My friend got there just in enough time to be there as they were sedating me, but it was
Yeah.
like, knock me out. I done did this before. I know the routine. I don't
Yeah.
even have to push, cut me. I'm
Yeah.
good. And then when she came, she didn't, because babies know what's going on when you're pregnant. I believe that.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
she already knew that there were some issues with me and her dad. So she did not, she wasn't with it. So every time he would come by, she would scream. Every time she would do that. And so I'm thinking, what the hell's going on with my baby?
Yeah.
What's wrong? She
But it's just the energy that she had got from when she was in the womb.
She had felt that energy and she was like, nah, it ain't gonna work. So imagine again, because it's 04, 05, 07, and here she comes in 09. Now, my body never healed. So I've always been a little off, so that didn't help. I've always been a little extra. So now my hormones were off.
Yeah.
Everything was gone. So again, it's odd. It was the first one and the last one.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so it was a lot.
Yeah, that,
Well, I wanted to ask, just going back to, I guess the concept of your network. How do you suggest that women? I seen a post on social media the other day,
Okay.
and it was talking about how how moms need to find themselves and everything, and you're more than just a mom and all of that. But when does it go too far? If that makes sense, like when do you like, all right, girl, you getting more into the city girl area versus you're a woman
Carisha.
and a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, when does it how do you distinguish when it gets
You
too
know,
far?
I think everybody has their limit, because I went through a phase, a real bad one, and I was the girl. I was the girl. I was out. Luckily,
kicking it, huh?
I did. I was doing me.
I ain't mad at it.
What's that song? Doing Me?
I was doing me. Luckily, my kids, their grandparents, my mom and dad, and my sister were there to help. So I never got too out of control. But looking back, I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute.
What you was doing?
What was I doing?" And you know what? Now that you say that, now I do remember that. It was
Yeah.
too much. I was drinking too much.
Yeah.
I was drinking too much and woke up and had to take them to school. They can't come back and get me later on after I say this. I hope.
Right, yeah.
I had drank too much the night before, woke up and had to drive to take them to school, and that's when I realized I had gotten out of control.
Nah, you can't.
We done all been there, done that.
Yeah, listen, I was still drunk. I can't do it.
Because I always, I find it difficult. I'm a very opinionated person. Sometimes I just can't help myself, even though I want to.
And sensitive.
I gotta comment.
Oh, and you sensitive. You say you
Sensitive
I
too.
can be.
Okay.
I
Ain't no can be.
I don't have to be toying around with. Don't play with me. Call it sensitive if you want. But I try not to judge women, based off like how they not express themselves, but I guess you say express themselves. Outside of being a mom, meaning sometimes they just want to go out and wild out. But I feel like being a mother is a job, and when you get a job, there's certain things you can't do on that job. And that's just one of the. I feel like sometimes kicking it like that is one of the sacrifices you make. Just not as a mom, but as a parent. Because I'm a father myself, and I don't go out and do all. He be trying to get me to kick all the time. Like I can't, bro.
Yeah, you don't want to see no mom shaking ass. I know.
I ain't gonna say that.
Oh, you do want to see that.
See
But I'm
that?
saying, like, not too much. Like again, like
Just not every night.
I guess like are people wrong for not judging, but I guess, you know, for lack of a better phrase, passing judgment on,
Yes.
you know, parents.
I was like, you want to take this?
It look like you finna,
Yeah.
you finna meet your match today, partner.
Yeah.
It's wrong to judge because you don't know people's situations, right? And so I try, and I was there. Like I said, I didn't have my son until I was 33, and so there were plenty of times where I was like, "Don't she got kids at home? Like, why she
Right.
turn up?" But it's just like, you know, now I understand that like you've gotta have that outlet, and if as long as the kid, the only thing that we can do is assume that their kids are someplace safe, either with their other parent, with their grandparents, or somebody.
I leave mine with mine. They 14.
Yeah,
Look,
they stay home. They good.
What?
They stay home. Something. All we can do is assume that they are home and they're safe. But you know, I think, like she said, if it's every night, and you know, but even still, every night, there are moms that work in clubs and they still get up and take their kids to school or whatever. And so as long as the kids again are getting to where they need to be, they're fed, they're healthy, they're happy, and as long as what you're doing doesn't come at the cost of
The
like
kids.
of them. And so, like, if they have someplace to be, and you're like, well, fuck it, I'm going out. Y'all
Yeah.
got to find your way.
Yeah.
Like, too much of that, I think, would be like, all right, maybe you need to reevaluate your priorities.
But let me challenge you on that. What makes you feel like she should be home and the responsibility should be doing whatever?
Before he answers that, you know what I'm saying?
I was just like,
I just want to
about to
say
lie about
I'm
something. He
all
about to lie about
for
something.
moms twerking in the club, letting their hair down.
okay.
Well, Carisha, girl,
Until-
be who
until
you
we
want
get
to
on
be,
social
girl.
media and see videos
And then you
of
see
his
it.
kids' mom
Okay.
on there shaking ass. And
Be like, what was you
why you
thinking?
Guess what?
Exactly.
Guess what?
What?
I
What
don't
about
know what she doing. It could care less.
It be like that. It be
But
like
could
that.
you ask your question?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my question is, what makes you feel like, or how did you get to the point that you feel like that's inappropriate for a mother? Because I've learned from my experience, we've been taught what a mother's supposed to do and how they're supposed to be. And just because I'm not what is your idealistic mother, what makes me bad?
Oh, I
So, okay, I see what you're saying.
I put a little 2 cents in that.
Oh my God.
Cause
You know,
I'm just saying, can I give him a little background? You're not from Tampa,
I'm trying
so
to
you
answer her
from
question.
you from
I'm just trying to answer
you know
her
what I'm saying? You from Indianapolis.
no, I'm not.
Your 2
No, I'm
cents
not.
is wrong.
Exactly. No, I'm not.
He know I know that.
Okay.
But
Come on, man.
he come from the backwoods. Mama just in the kitchen cooking.
Correct.
Country days.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know
that's
what's
where
crazy?
he coming from. So now I let you answer. Go
It's
ahead.
actually the exact opposite.
Okay.
My mom was kind of like you in a sense. She had 4 kids. We're all stair-step, 2 years apart. My mom started having kids real young.
Okay.
So we basically grew up with my mom in the house with her all the time. But to answer your question, I wouldn't necessarily say it's wrong. I just feel like parenthood as we know it is kind of course it's making a shift, but I wouldn't say it's making a shift for the better. I think I hear it too often, fuck them kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I coach football, youth
Okay.
football, and some of these parents or some of these kids got 2-parent households, some are come from 1-parent households. The ones that come from the 1-parent households usually a single mom. And sometimes it's hard not to, again, pass judgment.
Yeah.
Just based off how my mom was. You know,
Right.
I watched my mom struggle with 4 boys on her own. And sometimes I'm like, sweetheart, you got 1 son. Like, it's just, you just got 1. And
But if
like,
that's all she
I feel
has,
like
that's
you're
why
lacking
she's
a little bit.
frustrated. We never know what's making her frustrated.
Right.
And so the reason I asked that question is because I find that a lot, this is just me because I'm in the South, a lot of Southern men, y'all like, stay home. What's the problem? You done got a kid, stay yourself home. And don't let it be an older man, oh girl, you can't even do none of that. So again, you're basing off on what you saw your mom do. And I came up with more than a mom because I saw what my mom did.
Right.
She had me, she was active in her sorority, she was go, go, go.
Okay.
Got down to my brother, she's like, no, 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 everything was gone. She was like, it's all about you all. She gave up everything with the expectancy that once they turn 18, I might be able to enjoy my life. Now here's the other part of it. Once we got 18 and got grown, now she went into a depression because she don't have
don't
nobody,
do herself.
no,
Nobody
no,
there
do
with
it
her.
herself.
See,
her whole
Empty
life
nest.
was, her
Empty
whole life
nest.
was the kids. Now what you supposed to do? That's my concern with our moms is don't go off the cliff.
Right.
Don't go off the cliff, leave the kids out there and something happen, but make yourself a priority. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to take an hour out of the day and give it to me. I didn't say go
Exactly. I agree
outside,
with that.
twerk all night, all
I
the
agree with
time.
that.
Right.
But if you're saying, I think that a mom, not necessarily you, everybody, some people, that a mom should just be in this little box, that's why I can say fuck them kids, because you want to keep me boxed in
Right.
of what you think I should be. Whereas, so I'm supposed to give up my life while daddy out there doing what you do.
Man, hold
Now, that's
on,
a whole
hold on,
nother story
hold
now.
on, hold
And I'm just saying,
on.
'cause- and
Hold
it's
on.
hard because I'm a
What?
single mom.
But wait,
But
and let
why,
me-
come
wait,
later.
why we gotta say what
before-
doing what daddy do?
before you say
Daddy
that,
just
I
out there
just-
working, paying the bills.
Doing what?
Daddy working, paying the bills,
Okay, I'm gonna sit back.
and bringing home the bacon.
And bring it home. What
Before
bacon?
you say that, I
Ooh,
wanted to
bacon.
also make a point that your mother is married.
Yes.
And so she got
Yes.
depressed even with her husband at
Yes.
home. Like, this is not just a single mom. And I've heard a lot of stories where even couples, they break up
Yes.
after kids are gone
Yes.
because they haven't reconnected.
They don't
And
have
so
nothing in common no more.
part
or
of
whatever.
balancing womanhood isn't just, although we are two single moms, the moms in our group are not just single moms. They
Okay.
have husbands at home, whatever. And a lot of it is like you figuring out, like, maybe going out with your man is what makes you feel like a woman.
Yeah.
Dress up for your man,
Right,
do
right.
whatever. Like, we have all
Whatever's
those
gonna make you happy.
conversations too. It's about what makes you happy. Some people, I don't want to be in the club. That's just not my thing. Even if I
Yeah.
didn't have a child, at this age, I would not be in
Correct.
the club anymore.
Right.
And even our More Than Mom events are not even like nighttime events. We
Yeah.
do brunch, we do, wine and wings. It's a spa day,
Correct.
or whatever.
So y'all at that age, y'all can't stick with the youngest no more.
We didn't say that.
Oh,
so let's correct
oh,
that. We didn't
okay.
say
No,
that.
I don't
We didn't say
wanna
that.
be with the
I don't
youngins
want
no
to.
more.
Oh, okay.
There's a
I
difference.
don't want to be with the youngins no more.
And
Like,
I think this year was our first year last year was our first year every event we had a DJ, because we normally don't. And it's more motivative, more empowering, but I turned 40.
Better energy.
Yeah, I turned 40 and I was like, I'm finna act a fool all year.
Hair down.
So every time we had an event, I had a DJ. We had empowering things, but we had a DJ. We turned up all year because I had just turned 40. So my biggest thing is I don't want to ever look back and be like, damn, I can't get my life back because I was
Yeah.
raising these kids.
Regrets.
There's nothing wrong with being, like you say, sit down, relax for a minute, sit down somewhere. But you need to know you have the power to go out there and still live your life.
Right.
And I
do
feel
wanna-
guilty
I do
about
wanna
it.
clarify, I just feel like when you become a parent, whether you're a man or a woman, so I'm not saying like this
Something
is just
should change.
based. Exactly. You know what I'm
Something
saying? Like,
should change.
you should want. I feel like you're taking on that job, so you kind of like you're giving up a little bit of that part of your life, like that
Correct.
carelessness and just going out, and
Correct.
you're giving up that freedom. When you have a child.
Correct. I agree with you because I never called my children, kids, anybody. They were always little people.
Right.
So I always knew my responsibility was to raise little people.
Little
Because
people,
once you get
right.
to that age, I don't want you to be like, well, what I'm supposed to do, Mom?
Exactly.
No, I taught you at an early age how to do what you need to do when you got there. So now I'm okay saying I'm gonna holler at y'all on the weekend because I'm gone. Y'all good.
Right.
As long as they have internet, Uber, and Uber Eats and my credit card, they can care less
They
from
sure
that.
DoorDash.
They don't care. So, but it wasn't always like that.
Right.
And that's where, like, I don't
Yeah, I'm
understand.
not there yet.
I don't understand the new age moms. I don't. Because that was not me.
What don't you understand about
I
it?
don't understand how the new age moms, the younger moms, can be like, I'm out here go these kids, mama. Like your mama's raising these kids.
Yeah.
That I didn't have growing up.
You know what's crazy?
I think that might be the boundary that you were asking
Yeah,
about. Like,
like-
when it's too much is when
You gotta
somebody
give your
else is raising
kids-
your kids.
Yeah, or
What's
even
up?
if it's not your mama, you done let the next door
Auntie.
neighbor watch the kids. And
Yes.
I'm like, wait, now do you even know this person? Because that's how kids get
Yeah,
messed up.
yeah,
Because you
correct.
don't know them, but you thought you knew them, and now you let that girl cross
Hands
the street.
in a pedophile.
And
Right.
now
'Cause you
everything's
wanted to
going
go
on,
out,
because you want to
yeah.
go out. So you're right. There is a line, but every person has to know their own line. That's like a alcoholic. After you done gone through the whole program, and you get around alcohol, can you handle it?
That's what I was. Yeah, when
Yeah.
you were talking about, when you were speaking, I actually made that correlation in my head, to where it sounds like if you are able to go out, I think you said, you can go out and enjoy yourself as long as your kids are taken care of. They don't need for anything. That kind of almost sounds like, and this is playing, devil's advocate. That kind of sounds like a functioning alcoholic per se.
Yep. That's
like,
funny.
I'm okay. Like, my kids is taken care of. So, yeah, I get drunk as hell all the damn time. I can barely stand up, but my kids taken care of. They ain't hungry. They don't want for. I'm like, okay.
And OC
it
gonna
still
take them to
doesn't make it
practice.
okay that it doesn't make it okay that you're still an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's still a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So LC, that's what's funny about that is that's the next direction that we're going with more than a mom. Like I got my moms to a point that they understand that we're more than a mom. Some of them, even myself, went back into whole mommy world. All I got back to worrying about was just the kids.
Yeah.
And so now I've just coined that phrase for me. Now I'm a recovering momaholic because of the simple fact. Again, I equate it to alcoholism. I was drinking. Now on the other side, I'm being a mom. I need to recover from that because before it gets out of control, that all I think about is my kids.
yeah.
I need to bring it back in and think about Andresia.
I
I
definitely
need
agree
to
with it.
understand Andresia because realistically, me at 24 having my kids to me at 41 is I don't even know me. I don't know my body.
Right.
Like I gotta try to learn me all over again. And you still want me to be mommy? No, dog.
Right.
Call your daddy.
Call your
Or
daddy.
get on Google, holler at Uber, learn how to cook.
Know what daddy saying?
Yeah, ooh.
Fuck them kids.
Fucking kids,
You know,
man.
some
Go find
I
your
won't
mama.
take it away. There are some really, really good dads.
No,
definitely.
I won't bash
Man,
every
put
dad.
your hand down.
There are some really good dads, but there are some real interesting ones.
That's the one sitting next
Ooh,
to you.
interesting.
Yeah, interesting. I
That's
won't call
the
them.
adjective we using.
Yeah, you ask me something like that, I'm gonna tell you because I don't want to be negative. So y'all, I ain't gonna say y'all, but they interesting.
Yeah.
They interesting. They're interesting.
Wow.
I did have another question. I'm trying to remember. How do you, or what advice do you give women who tend to, I guess you say like fall too much in love with their kids? You know what I'm saying? Like they give their kids more love than they give
Like
their
little
husbands.
Johnny is her man.
Yeah, you know what
Dress
I'm
him up
saying?
like a
It's
man
tight.
and all that.
And like, okay, or like you said, you gave the example of the parents who get divorced after the kids leave, and it's because they realize after the kids gone, like
They haven't connected.
exactly.
And usually it's because mom is poured into the kids and dad is sitting over there like, hey, what about me?
Exactly. So, what type of advice do you have on finding balance in those types of situations?
The first thing is that B word is a curse word. We don't say balance. Prioritize that thing. You can't, because there's really no balance.
Okay, I
Even
like
in the
that.
scale, it's up or down, up and
Something's
down.
gonna suffer, yeah.
Somebody's going to be lacking, so
Right.
prioritize it. So if you're a mom and
So
you're
who
a wife-
prioritized number one? Who number one? That
You.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
number
then.
one first.
Okay.
Because think about it on the airplane.
Wait. I'm talking about man or the kids.
Man.
Okay.
If he's your
Yeah,
husband.
if he's your
yeah.
husband.
If he's your husband.
Okay.
If he's
Yes.
your husband or that's it. I'm not talking about,
Yeah, he's
PJ
talking about-
that you met at the club last
Yeah, yeah.
night.
No.
But if y'all are
Real.
living together, raising these kids together,
He
the
number
man,
one.
the man is
He-
number 2 after you.
So you make your plate first, then you make his plate, and then
Who
the
said
kids'
that?
plate.
No. You make his
I'm just trying to get it straight. So what's the order?
using like serving, you make his plate, the kids' plate, and then
Your plate.
your plate.
Okay. I just be seeing some different stuff going on.
Yeah, and if we're using the plate, but we're talking about in general.
Okay,
In
in
general,
general, okay.
then it's
It's
me,
you
him,
first,
and
yeah.
then the kids.
Yeah.
Let's
correct.
clarify now. This is not just some random.
No.
She said it. So it's either
Husband,
we living together,
husband.
your husband.
Yeah.
We're raising the
We
kids
raising the
together.
kids
We
together.
are
Actual
doing this
family.
thing called life together.
Together.
Facts.
That's the order.
So how detrimental do you think it could be if one doesn't, prioritize themselves in those
100%.
situations?
It's
100%.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
like-
divorce. For me, maybe
there-
not divorce.
I would say I'm sure there are probably. I feel like men these days are not gonna be like, I'll just sit here and wait the 20 years until he
No
leaves.
way.
Right. I think we see a lot of like older couples who the father had stuck it out and stuck around. But I think these days, like
out.
you're jeopardizing your whole life, expecting that man to wait until you raise these kids and get them out the door before
Yeah.
you show him any attention.
So, yeah,
And you shouldn't want that to be the example for your kids anyway.
Exactly.
Because
Correct.
then they don't have
They won't
a
see
healthy
the-
relationship when they go out into the world. They
Exactly.
should see that y'all are working together and that you prioritize each other and that y'all come together to make decisions for them. Like that's how you like build a healthy household.
Yeah.
But then I feel like in that case, you typically down the line end up with those kids who say like, like my mom never cared enough about us. She put our dad before us and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know, because if you're not balanced, if you're prioritizing everybody and giving everybody their equal time to the best of your ability, if that child comes back and says that, then that child needs to really look at themselves. Like, what were you doing that you expected me to do everything for you?
Or two, was that relationship that she was or he was seeing
Was it a
healthy?
right?
A
Was
healthy
it a
one?
toxic relationship
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they should be able to come back and be like, my parents had each other's back.
Correct.
Yeah,
And this
exactly.
is what I want going forward. So yeah, it would definitely be, there would be something off, I would say, if that's how they felt coming back and looking to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's any, not only every, but even co-parenting relationships, I feel like should be cohesive. But
Yeah.
that's just my parents were never together, and and my mother never talked bad about him.
Correct.
He always took care of me, even when he was struggling with his
So she ain't
own
never
stuff.
say, "Oh God,
Nope.
you know your dad was supposed to buy you them shoes."
I went
Yeah,
to him
come
on
through.
I went to him on the weekends, even when he was going through his own personal stuff. My aunt and my grandmother stepped in for him, and there was never any shift in my routine.
Yeah.
They picked up the slack.
That's what's up.
His mother and grandmother, and sister picked up the slack. And so, like, as I got older, I was aware that he went through this rough patch, but there was never any resentment. I knew he
Yeah.
was doing the best he could with what he had at the time. But that was like me coming to terms as an adult. That was
Yeah,
never
yeah.
based
At
on
the
like my
child,
mother
yeah.
saying whatever. And there were times I'd be like, I can't believe you let me go when you knew. And she was like, I knew you were safe. I knew your grandmother was there. I knew your aunt was there. It was more important that you worked through
Spent
your
that
relationship
time
with your
with the-
father
yeah.
in whatever capacity it was. And, that's how I raised my son. I don't have the baby daddy drama. Thank God.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
But we have, and he's not even here in the state. He doesn't live here. And we still, like, if I have a big decision to make, I call him, what do you think about this? And he always defers to me because I'm the
The one
primary
kid,
parent.
yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not just like, oh, I did this and whatever. Because, and again, maybe it's my long-term thinking, having a child with a disability. God forbid something happens to me and he would have to step in for his child. Like, I need you
want
to
him
be
to
aware
know
of what
of
this
everything
life
that's going
is like.
on, yeah.
I need you to be aware of what we do and how we do it around here so that there's, you can pick up where I left off, God forbid that.
So with that, does your child go with him?
He does not go with him, but that's because of the limitations of his disability and his age right now.
okay.
That is the goal.
Okay.
That and when I moved here, we didn't know he was autistic, so it was just like, I'm gonna have my summers off because you gonna go with your daddy.
So you didn't. So when he was born, you didn't know.
No. He was diagnosed when he was 2.5, and I had already moved to Tampa. And so, yeah, it just, all of that. And that was why I was like, I need to figure out what life is like without just being a mom, because this is going to be, being a mother is lifelong anyway.
Yeah.
But my journey really is different.
Unique.
For the unforeseeable future. And so I can't get lost. I have to take care of me.
Yeah.
Because if I don't take care of me, like, who's gonna take care of him?
Facts.
And
Facts.
so
Now, do you think women? Well, I'm going to say I think a lot more women would be able to prioritize themselves more and not lose themselves in being a mother if they didn't have the mentality that my baby mentality. These are my kids mentality.
oh, don't get me started.
Get
Break that
started.
question down a little bit more before I give you the answer.
Okay, so
Because I think I might give you the wrong
like
one.
I wanted to say it while she was speaking, but
Okay.
she was saying like even with her child's father not being here, she still calls him to when it's something like a big decision or something. She calls him to at least inform. A lot of mothers that are in my generation at least, they're not gonna bother to call their dad. Why? Because it's my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like yeah,
It's
we
hers.
had it
I
together,
don't
but
even
this
think
is my baby.
I don't even consider him my baby. Like, we have to, and I always say, I think I said it earlier, like, you got to check your ego at the door.
Yes.
Like, we don't want to think about it, but these kids are whole
They need
ass
both.
people, and they're their own people,
people.
Yeah.
right? And so, like, we put so much pressure on, like, oh, like I was saying, my son's gonna play soccer, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that, he's gonna be a doctor when he grows up, he's gonna go to this school, and it's like, how do you know? He's 3,
Right.
like, he's got his whole.
Oh,
Like,
don't get us started on that. Because boy, it's some football dads that they son gonna be a number 1 wide receiver already.
Right, and it's like, no, he's not mine. Our children are not our possessions.
Correct.
I always say my son was gifted to me to guide through his own journey. Like, this is his life, his journey. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I'm just here holding him up and lead him on the way. And if he goes off, I might let him go off a little bit to see and learn his own lessons. But
Let
I'm
him
not
touch
gonna
that hot stove.
Right. I'm not going to let him go too far off. And that has not changed, even with him being disabled. Like, I still, like, I'm not going to tell you, all right, you want to keep jumping. Like, that's fine, but you're going to fall and we're going to go to the hospital. So you can keep jumping, but I'm not going to stress myself. I'm not going to wrap you in bubble wrap. You keep jumping, we'll just go on to the hospital. Like, you got to learn your lessons on your own.
I think a lot of parents don't do that too nowadays. They don't let their babies fall down off the bike.
And then you take on that anxiety. And this is why, you might be out wilding out because you've taken on so much.
Yeah.
And it's unrealistic, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, keep them safe, but you got to let them. Yeah, he's not mine. He came through me, but he is his own person.
But he started inside daddy.
Oh, here we go. Really?
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, if you putting it that way, yes.
Okay.
If you really need to put it that way, but guess what?
scientific.
I'm the incubator. So even though you may have gave me that particular,
I gave you life.
You gave me that sperm, but
Life.
in order for
Life.
that
I gave you
sperm
life.
to be fertilized, it had to be in the right location. So yeah, you may have.
That could have worked in any location.
No, I mean a different woman, but not. It still got to be a woman. It still got to be a woman. But to go back to your question for a second, OC, because I was convicted. I'm her. I was that. These my kids. You don't tell me what the hell to do with my kids.
Exactly.
And it has been a very interesting journey co-parenting, and I can't. Our co-parenting
I get text
situation.
messages about that too.
Listen.
I was like, now tree.
When you said it, I was convicted, and I wouldn't be myself if I didn't say I've done that.
Right.
And as my kids are older, I see the effects of what I did. Now, what I never did was talk bad about him to the kids. Now, to my friend, dude, you ain't shit. But to my kids, that's your dad, you're going to respect him.
Yeah.
I may mumble on my breath about him, but they would never know. But because I held them as these my kids don't tell me shit, I don't want to hear. I'm not calling you for nothing. I make the decisions. I see the effect.
Yeah.
So to that mom that's doing it, think about it before you do it, because again, these kids are not going to be 3 or 4 forever.
Correct.
And once they get older, they see it.
Right.
And I would hear everybody always say, "You ain't got to do all that. They'll know. They'll see who he is." But unfortunately, those was my kids.
Right.
So I didn't include him in a lot of decisions. Do I think I should have now? I'm not going to even say that. I'm not.
I thought
But
we was
I
having a
am.
breakthrough.
No.
I thought we was having a
You thought it was
breakthrough.
gonna be happy ending.
Nah, this ain't no
Nah.
Ivana.
We're still working on that part.
We are. I'm a work in
It's a-
progress.
Exactly.
I'm a work in progress, but I don't negate
He
the
at
fact-
least get a copy of the report card.
Who? If they send it to him,
Oh man.
it's listen, I'm not gonna put it out there too much.
Yeah.
But I have told the kids, if you want him to know, you got a recital. I pay enough to Verizon, holler at him. He ain't got to even holler at me no more.
See, I think that's kind of wrong.
Why? Please tell me. I got to turn all the way around for this one.
They're at home with
There
you.
go my dog. Come out, OC.
What happened?
They're at home with you.
What they got to do with me?
Okay, so me and you have a child. Okay.
Beautiful
Kids at home
child.
with you. I don't know what they got going on at school.
Correct.
Because they come home and they tell you.
Okay, but here's the thing. And
But
this
they
is
also know.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
If I go tell mama, or if I go tell dad, without telling my mom that I'm telling dad, mama probably gonna get mad.
Okay.
Right or wrong?
Possibly.
Possibly. So that sounds like right.
Possibly.
Mama gonna go off on me for
Possibly.
telling. Who told you to tell him?
Possibly.
You told that.
You know what I'm saying? Like I find, or not find, but I see a lot of women saying like, we got a kid together. You know what it takes to raise a kid. I shouldn't have to tell you. And it's like they live at home with you. Yes, you should. You should have to tell me, hey, your son's out of diapers.
But then
Okay.
You
9
like-
times out of 10 to jump on that point. Do we really have experience before you know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
How your
yes.
first? Do you really know how to be a father? Do you really know how to be a
Exactly.
mother
That's
before?
a good point.
You
That's a good
know what I'm
point.
saying?
Who taught me how to be a mama? Nobody.
Right.
I saw it.
Right.
But not necessarily did I get a book or a manual on how to be a mom. Going back to your question when you said they're in the house with me, here's my thing. up until the point that they got to where they could open their mouth and verbalize and tell daddy these things, he knew. Now, once they got to the age that you could tell him,
yeah.
and then there's a thing called the internet.
It's on you to tell them now.
Get up and do it, because I didn't get a choice when I became a mom.
Yeah.
I had them. I've always been a single mom, even with 4 kids, and they all have the same father. I've been a single mom since day one.
Right.
He was there, but I was a single mom. How do we get 4 kids? I like sex. I can't even help it. I like sex, so now I'm pregnant. He sneezed, I'm pregnant. So let's just be real. So I think we were better off.
He did that wink.
Yeah. He knew what time it was.
9 months later.
So,
Here come another one.
listen, if we're being honest, my thing with him was, listen, just like I got to go out there and get it, you got to go out there and get it. Now, you want me to tell you everything. Now, I'm enabling you to be a terrible dad because you didn't put in the work to get it.
True.
So when you say, well, we should, why is it that I should do anything when your name is on the birth certificate? You can go up to the school like I can. You can go to the doctor's office. At no point am I telling you no, but at every point am I saying you got to do it with me. If you want 50-50, come to the table with, okay, I don't really like you. I could care less for you, but I'm here for them.
See,
and that's
what
I'm trying to say.
I think that's the issue with co-parenting in his generation. Women tend to, I won't say women, people tend to try to control the way the other one parents.
I'm guilty again.
You're not gonna tell me what kind of dad I'm gonna be.
You were right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got.
That's why. And you ask, why do I have to tell you? Because we're co-parenting.
Yeah.
And communication is a thing. So you need to tell me when something's going on.
I got one trying to tell me what to do, and the kids don't even live with her.
Wait.
Lord
And
have
that's
mercy.
that is the thing,
That's
and I
the
agree. It's just hard, and I think if we're being honest, especially in that co-parenting world, and the kids are with you, and it's not a healthy balance, women, I'll speak for myself, there's a lot of resentment. Not that I want you,
Exactly.
God knows I don't, but I'm staying up late at night.
Yeah.
I'm having to go to the doctor.
But I think if y'all realize that if you stop trying to tell me what to do, you wouldn't have to do all that by yourself. A lot of fathers don't do stuff. I'm trying not to cuss. A lot of fathers don't do shit because you're not finna fucking tell me how to do it. So if you think you finna tell me how to
I
do
hear
it,
that all.
it's
I
just not about to
hear
get
that all.
done.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
Okay,
You're not
so
finna
you
tell me how to
speaking
do
through
it.
my children's father right now. That's what he said all day. This is supposed to be talking about more than a mom. We weren't supposed to convict me today. But you're right. That's always been his perspective. You're not gonna tell me how to run my house. Well, then they gonna stay home then.
But this brings me back to my favorite word,
Yes.
ego, right?
Yes.
Because now he's trying to spite her, you trying to
Yeah.
spite, and the only people that are suffering
Are
are
my
the
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think he's
so-
fighting her. I just think he's setting
But-
a boundary. That's
but if
setting
you
a
say-
boundary.
You think it's a boundary?
Absolutely. You're not going to tell me what kind of man I got to be.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
wait a
That's the
minute.
boundary. That's the boundary I'm saying. You're not gonna
I've been
tell
waiting
me
for this
what
OC
kind of
all
man.
day.
Okay, see, but here's my thing, and maybe
Uh-huh.
I'm wrong for this. Remember when we talked about at the very beginning, you saying mother should do this, mother shouldn't do this, right? So if my expectancy for you as a man, as a father, and I have this expectancy and you don't live up to it, so yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
I think that's the thing we forget. Expectations are only opinions.
There, you're right. And I, unfortunately, again, Andresia had a 2-parent household. I can't talk for nobody else.
Right,
Andresia
right.
had a 2-parent household. So co-parenting, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
And I told him,
She never
listen,
started.
I don't know how this works. I don't know how I'm supposed to like or not like this lady.
Yeah.
I don't know how the kid's supposed
So
to
you-
come. So we got to figure this out together.
Right. So do you define co-parenting as two parents who aren't together that are trying to raise
Yes,
a child together?
that is a healthy co-parenting situation.
I think
and I had that.
anytime you have a child, you're automatically co-parenting. You can be married and co-parenting, living in the same house and co-parenting, living separated and co-parenting. It's all co-parenting because you have to parent with the
Correct.
other person. So I don't think that, just using your example, you had a 2-parent household. You still saw co-parenting. They raised you together, right? I mean, it might not have been perfect in every situation, but I mean,
Yeah.
two people raising a child is co-parenting.
It
to
is,
me.
it is. I guess, like I said, I convict myself. I had the resentment because I was up.
Right.
I was up taking care of them.
Yeah.
And
you had to
now
go
I'm-
to a doctor visit.
Yeah.
You had to, when they emergency room, you had to rush them to the emergency room.
Yeah, I had
Stuff
to do
came
all
up, you had to be the disciplinarian.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, where's this co-parenting at? And because I didn't know what it looked like, according to me,
Yeah.
I didn't know what it looked like. So now I'm fighting, hence how I became more than a mom. Because I'm like, dude, I need some time.
Right.
Like, our arrangements, initially when we separated, he would get them one day. Sir, what is happening the other 6 days a week?
Yeah,
That's not co-parenting.
Bruh,
That is
like-
not
No,
co-parenting.
So
no.
that's when it became the resentment.
Right.
Because, and that's what people won't be honest about. If you lay it all out on the table and we doing it 50-50 since we're not together, then let's lay it out on the table. But if one parent is catching all the slack, that's when a person start feeling like, wait a minute, hold on, this don't seem right.
But that person usually is catching the slack unconsciously because they want to.
I was just finna say that because for me, you know what I'm saying, I had my single father days, you know what I'm saying, with my 3 kids, and I remember it was time to where like she wanted more time. And I was like, I was hurt at it. Like, I was like,
What
no,
you mean
I
you
want
want my kids?
Yeah, you want. What you mean you want no more? You just got here.
Right.
These daddy's babies. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I'm saying? Even to the point to where, like, it was, you know what I'm saying, 70-30. So, like, I would have the kids, like, 10 days, and then she would have them for, like, the 4 days for 2 weeks. And then, you know what I'm saying, she wanted to do 50-50, you know what I'm saying, and a week on, a week off. And I'm just like, now I get 5 less days with my kids?
Right.
Like,
And I
I
think
don't.
that's what I was saying. Like you picking up so much slack because you don't want to send them with their daddy because their daddy not gonna raise them the way I want them.
Correct.
He's not gonna do what I want them to do.
Correct.
So I mean, you put it on yourself. That's your
You're
own
right,
fault.
you're right. Because now I got to go back into a conversation a gentleman had with me a couple months ago. He said, you're playing a dangerous game.
Right.
Because you're assuming the responsibility, and instead of
Yeah, there
telling
you
him,
go. Exactly.
hey, dude, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Can you help? Instead of me telling you, nigga, ooh.
She seen him right here in the bar. Then he just walked through the door.
A little bit.
And he just ordered some drip fries.
Instead of
mercy.
me saying you gon' do that, so you were 100% right. Again, I was convicted
I love
because
hearing
he
that, right? I'm not
said,
gonna lie.
"Ooh, now don't get it twisted," but because he said, you know, I'm playing a dangerous game because instead of you just telling the man what's up, you want to hoard the information
Right.
and you want him to read
And then
your
just
mind and you
reward
get
him with
mad.
it, yeah.
It's accountability for sure.
It is.
It's,
It is. It's a,
Yeah.
So do you guys? I don't want to say preach or teach. I'm not sure the word to use, but do you speak on that part of being a mom as well?
No, I'm gonna be honest, no, because in that moment, I don't get into the how y'all do things, parenting and co-parenting, because all I'm focused on is the woman. And maybe that might be a conversation we have. I've been wanting to get a panel with dads
I'll
and
be
my
there.
women together.
Count
and
me
We'll
in.
be there.
we get it together. Maybe that's what we hear. Because we need to we need to hear it. Because like I'm saying, you convicted me. I had another guy. He convicted me. And I would have to call him back 24 hours and be like, you know what? You was 100% right. Let me refix this. And then he was like, just call, Dree, just call. I called. I was like, listen, dude. I was like, you was right.
Right.
But nobody called me on my bullshit. Because
Yeah.
I'm saying he ain't nothing. But if I'd have just asked, he really was something.
Right.
Something he could have showed you
He
something.
could have been there. So
Yeah.
yeah, Tiff hit it right. Ego. You hit it right. Open your mouth and say something.
That's it. Just
But
say
I don't.
something.
With the moms, I'm teaching them how to put their mask on first. Because if you on that airplane, you don't put your mask on first, you're gonna lose
Yeah.
oxygen.
Facts.
So with more than a mom, I'm not teaching them, or I'm not even
How to-
going
We're
there.
not
how
there
to
yet.
co-parent.
Yeah.
That ain't
Yeah.
my
But
business.
I think that conversation you said you were teaching like from the airplane analogy. You're teaching them that put your mask on 1st. But I think that some people need to be taught the reason this plane's going down is because of you.
No, I'm not
reason we
see,
need a
sir.
mask. The reason
No.
you need your
The
mask.
reason these sirens going off.
The reason you need your mask before you
No, but
decide
okay.
your mask.
So wait,
It's because of you.
but we're not coming to get like we're not saying. Okay, so we don't have to take care of ourselves because we having drama with men. That's not
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're saying.
Right. Correct.
Because there are women who come who love their husbands, who
100%.
they're raising their kids at home. More than a mom is just about making sure that you
Correct.
take care of yourself.
Your
first.
womanhood.
It's, right.
Yes,
It's, right.
literally.
It's also not about also going out and twerking or whatever. It can be. I'll let her talk about it, but she's starting this thing called the Power of an Hour. So it don't even have to be like you leave the house. you take an hour of your
That's what I
time,
like. I
lock
need my
yourself in
hour.
the bathroom, take a bath, read a book,
Correct.
whatever. I had not picked up a book since I had my son, and I used to love to read, and I realized like I had stopped reading, and so now I have all these books on like Audible, because if I pick up a book, you know, once he sees me doing something other than
Is you
him,
really reading on Audible?
I'm listening on
Solid, man.
Audible.
Come on, man.
I'm
Oh, okay,
listening
okay.
on Audible.
Yeah.
So why do you think moms take on that responsibility? Like,
what?
or not take on that responsibility, but give up that freedom? Because me, like, I consider myself, granted, you know, my son is being raised in a 2-parent household. I consider myself to be the primary parent. And since he's been born, like, I'm not finna take. I'm about to lose my quiet time just because I got a kid.
But that's
now.
the point. We
Like, why do
because
women
we
do
have
that?
it's almost like instinct. We carry these kids for 40 weeks and they are literally a part of us.
Correct.
And now they come out of us and we're just like, holy shit, now we got to keep them alive outside of our own bodies.
Correct.
And so we go into that mode of just like surviving, just us surviving, them surviving, and getting through and all that. And so next, you know, you look up and again, they're 3 and you realize you haven't gone out with your girlfriends or you haven't picked up a book. You know, for me, with my son, like we kind of went from like this, well, I haven't slept in 7 years, but that's something else. But having an autistic child, there's so many other layers of that. It was I can't wait till he's like not sleeping in my bed,
Right.
to I can't wait till he is walking around and using the bathroom by himself. I can't wait. And it's like we got through those milestones, but it felt like there was yet something else
Another
on top
one,
of it.
yeah.
And so like I'm always still trying to, you know, my day, first of all, I work 40 hours. I do more than a mom.
Yeah.
I have another business. Like I'm always juggling. I'm always researching to make
TNH
sure.
Business Consulting.
I'm always, you know, researching, making sure that he's getting what he needs. He's shuttled back and forth between therapies and school and, you know, trying to make sure, you know, he's taken care of, because a lot of what comes with his version of autism is a language delay. And so it's hard for him to communicate. And so I'm always just like looking into, and I have that whole separate other network of moms with kids with disabilities. And so like I'm always doing something, but I don't want to say that's not for me, but like that's where my mode is. So, you know, reading a, you know, novel about whatever just feels like that's time I could be doing
Correct.
something else.
So I have a question, because when you said, OC, that you feel like you're the primary parent in the household, it got me thinking, like, I don't know, like as far as like animals, like
Yeah.
a lot of animals, when, you know what I'm saying, the mom have the baby, they kind of leave it with the father. So are we doing this process wrong, OC? Like, as
It's a
far
good
as
question. I mean, as humans, we operate different from the rest of the animal kingdom anyway.
correct,
Especially when it comes to like providing and
Those
things like
cheetahs
that.
be out there.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like it's when you look at animals, who out
Yeah.
there hunting?
the moms,
The women. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
and the
When it
the
comes to
pops is
humans-
back at the crib
Exactly.
with
When it
the.
comes to humans,
Yeah.
we're expecting the men to be the providers. So we
Correct.
always operated, you know, outside of the norm for the
But do
for
we
the
really
animal
though?
kingdom.
Because think about it. As a mom, you said your first initial question was, why do moms take on that responsibility? Why do they feel like they just have to do it? In a sense, when we're doing it, that is us going out there and hunting. That is us having to put in that effort. Like there's a whole study about how with even just that serotonin I'm having, because I'm going deeper with more than a mom, I'm having to go and look at the science of it.
Yep.
As a mom, when you're carrying these children, that is the connection. And then it's deeper than just you being in my womb. It's deeper than me pushing you out. Now I'm supposed to provide for you. So now I automatically
hunters-
it clicks for me. Let me get my stuff together and let me go. And now I gotta go. I know my mom raised me in the fact you get pregnant, you have a kid, that's your kid. So literally, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I went into mommy mode, cheetah mode. I done ran and got an apartment. I done ran and got a better job. I'm trying to provide for these kids.
I hear that a lot though. I hear that a lot.
It was a whole instinct. So why do we do it? Because it's in us to do. Now, why don't all dads just be like, no, I got it, or why they jump on it? That may be something that that was a learned behavior. I don't think it was not all men. I don't think it is just an instinct, like a mom has an instinct to get up and go to take care of these kids. Oh, I got you to be quiet on that one. Go ahead, shake your
I got to say. You got before I flip this camera.
For me, it's the same. For me, you know what I'm saying? It's the same instinct. When, you know what I'm saying, me and my ex-wife divorced, like, it was no brainer for me. Like, I mean, she just wasn't in a spot to be able to take care of him or whatnot. So, but it was like
But
no.
That's the key. That's what made it
click.
So it was something that made
Something
you do
made
it.
it click.
But even because they
You
when
saw
we
that
first
she
split
wouldn't
when
and
we
you had to,
when,
and that
when we
turned
first
on.
split up they went with her for like the first month.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, even when that happened, I feel like I still had to go get it even before they, and then it just so happened to, you know what I'm saying, I had got it and shit with her fell apart, so then they came to live with me.
But again, it's something that's pushing you to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't like you came out from as soon as the baby was like, the baby's born, smack on the back. Ah! You didn't go like, let me go figure out what we finna do right away like that. To have that nurture, that go get it. Now, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
I mean, I feel, well, see, okay,
You
so
wrong with my
like I said,
I'm wrong with the situation,
absolutely.
okay.
like I said, my
Look, I was not playing with those doctors. When my son was on his way here, I was not playing no
That's-
game.
that's
I was
why-
actually extremely offended the way that they basically just pushed me to the side like
But
I
wait,
wasn't
you know
there.
why
Correct.
that was?
Correct.
You watched your mother raise 4 boys
Correct.
by herself. So you
Correct.
knew that
Make
that
that
is
correlation
not.
for me. It's not
Yeah,
clicking. Make
let
it
me
click
make
for
it,
me.
because here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
When you saw your mom having to make all those sacrifices to take care of you, that's a learned behavior, because now you're like, I don't want my mama or my wife. Now I don't want my wife or my girlfriend or the
no.
mother of my child to do this, because I saw how it affected me.
That wasn't
So-
it.
You wasn't?
Nah.
Okay, so we
I
still
had a
I just
I had a-
always want. I'm a very fatherly individual. I have
Okay.
an older
Correct.
son who I didn't. Oh shit! Now I'm about to give y'all.
Well, I done gave y'all my test, told them how to
No, I'm
blame
saying
everything.
you were right, because now it's clicking for me now.
Yeah.
There was something that made me
Something triggered
like
you.
I wasn't able to be in my first son's life the way I wanted
And
to.
so now you were
now the
in
second
go
one,
mode.
I'm like, no,
You
I'm
ain't play
not.
that game.
Yeah, exactly.
So something had to
Okay,
happen.
I see what you're saying now.
But with
Okay,
the
it makes sense
mother,
now.
the moment when that sperm is implanted in us, and now we have to nurture, because again, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We are literally making a human
Right.
being.
Yeah.
The
So
minute we find out
everything-
we're pregnant, everything changes.
everything
We have to
changed.
eat differently. We have
Yes,
to
we
sleep.
gotta take
We
these
can't do
vitamins,
this.
we
We
gotta
can't
do
do
this.
that. We have to sacrifice
it-
whatever.
That was
My
a
mama ain't changed
struggle.
nothing.
Yeah, that was a struggle. When my
I'm-
son's mom was pregnant, like I said, I wanted to be there in every way possible. Like I was telling her, like
He was making
when-
sure
when
she was eating all her vegetables.
She hated
Fruit.
it. She hated it. Like I
that
feel like she
vegetable
kind of
water in
resents
that
me
mouth.
for it now a
You
little
had-
bit. You know what I'm saying? And I let her. I always told her, like, it's not.
I'll let you
I
eat this
didn't
brownie
sound
if you get these
insensitive when I
veggies.
said it, but it's not your health I'm worried about. It's our child's health.
But see, that's wrong right there in itself, because how am I gonna carry your baby? You telling me it ain't about your health, it's about
Yeah.
the baby.
Because why you sitting there?
What
You
kind
don't
of
need to eat
inconsiderate
a whole sheet
mother-
of cake. So you
It's-
telling me because you having a craving that you gotta have it?
Yes, because in that
Yeah.
moment, you don't know what's really going on in my body.
That cookies and cream
You
gonna make the
don't- you
baby
don't-
feel
you don't-
good.
Listen, you don't know them hormones. We just had this conversation, because here it
That's
got
a-
real deep. When we were talking last night at Wine and Wings, it's easy for someone to look on the outside and say what you're supposed to do as a mother with your own body. Like, do you understand? Like Tiff had to bring it back home for me. We got to go through hell just to have our tubes tied. But you go get a vasectomy, you can make an appointment and it happens.
In order to get our tubes tied, they
no.
want to check with the man to
To make
find
sure
out
it's
if it's
okay.
okay.
I would say this. I would say this.
That's
I don't
crazy.
think,
Especially
'cause I
if you're
just had
married,
this.
your husband has to sign on.
I just
I did not
had
know
this
that.
conversation with someone.
Yeah.
But because I feel like, because I'm the only child, you know what I'm saying? Like we discussed earlier, OC my brother, but
Yeah.
he adopted.
Okay.
So, and my mom and dad, they've been married for 41 years. It was just their anniversary. Shout out.
Congratulations.
Shout out.
She was mad at me because I ain't calling in the morning and tell her, Mama, you made it to the podcast. Happy anniversary. So, going off of that, damn, I forgot what we was talking about now.
So
What was
you
talking about?
Women's bodies
Well,
and
yes.
it being
Their decision on
And
what
their
they want to do.
decision.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, but my mom and dad, they only had one kid, and she told the doctors, like, when she had me, like, tie my tooth, I don't want no
That's
more.
what I did.
Like, but I feel like from her telling me the story, she was just very adamant about it, and kind of made them do it.
Tiffany?
But then I hear other women who say, okay, yeah, I asked, but I'm like, well, did you really ask? Like, did you really? 'Cause I feel like you just have to if you
No.
want your tubes tied, you just
No,
gotta.
sir. Let me
So,
let's break that down. You
give-
get that one.
Yeah.
'cause no.
So look,
Not that
I
easy.
asked in 3 different states
Okay.
to get my tubes tied. So I didn't want to be a mother. At that time, right? And so when I turned 25, I was married at the time, and this is how I know. And I was in Georgia. And I went to my doctor and I was like, hey, my husband already has a child. I don't want to have a child. We're not going to have children. You know, can I get my tubes tied? And she was like, no. She wanted to speak to him. She was like, you're too young. And I remember her telling me, like, you have to come back to me when you're 30. We'll see how you feel when you're 30. I was like, okay. And so I wasn't in Georgia anymore. I turned 30. I was back in New York, where I'm originally from, and I was like, "Hey, I'm 30. I can go get my tubes tied."
Big 30 birthday.
Exactly.
Tubes tied.
We
And
have
so
a tube party.
I went to my doctor there, and you know, they gave me like a stack of paperwork, a stack of reading material, a video to watch, all this other stuff. And then in the state of New York, you can sign off on the sterilization papers, like a 5 pages worth of stuff, but then they still make you wait 90 days to do the procedure.
Wow.
Like they still are like, just in case you're not sure. And so some personal life things happened to me
Yeah.
during those 90 days, and I didn't go back. And you know, here at 33, here he comes. But and I'm grateful because I think my life would have been different. Separate topic. But when even when I got pregnant with him, I told my doctors then, this is gonna be my one and done.
Yeah.
I don't want. And they were like, oh well, we'll see. You know, blah blah blah, all sorts of stuff. And they were like looking towards his father, who was not my husband.
Yeah.
Like, you know, are you sure you got? And I'm like, why are you looking
No,
at him?
no, we got.
Number
Doc,
one, we're not married, right?
I might go back through that one more time. Hold on.
We're not married, and this is his number 4, so he needs to be done. Like, you know, and so
Doc,
again,
like,
it
y'all
was
can do
this-
5.
Right.
Yeah, it was just like, and even the day of, I ended up having to have a C-section. And I was like, oh, good, you guys are going in there anyway.
Yeah.
Let's tie it up.
Yeah.
And
they still did it?
I was laying on the table. I will never forget. And she lifted him up over the curtain, and she was like, "He's really cute. Are you sure?" Like it was just
Wow.
like this.
Like,
and I'm
lady, stop playing with
yes,
me.
pull my baby down and tie these tubes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like this whole big thing. Like this is what we're supposed to do. Like,
Yeah.
like why would you want to do that? You're supposed to have
I-
children. It's like that's
I ain't
not.
gonna lie. I kind of feel
That's
the
not
same way.
everybody's. That's not
That we're
everybody.
supposed to have kids.
That we're
Yeah,
supposed
like we're
to
put on earth to create
keep-
life. Like that's the whole point of sex, is to
Okay.
create life.
Correct. But some people just are not made to be mothers.
That's very true. If you don't
They're
want to
like-
have a kid, don't have a kid.
Not
Right,
even, not
but
even
then
that
you
don't
judge them
want
when they're in the
to.
club twerking
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
didn't want to have those
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, you
You shouldn't
judging
have
them.
the kid. You shouldn't have the kid. Like you
Yeah,
knew
you
you
shouldn't
didn't want
have the
kids.
kids, but
If
that
you don't
goes-
want kids, have protected sex. It's
That's
all comes
true.
down to that, responsibility,
That's true,
that
but here's the thing.
accountability
She just
thing.
said though, OC, she couldn't get the tubal
They-
when she was trying to be responsible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
And
and
then-
they'd rather me.
They delayed
they'd
her.
rather
The-
me
the
take
government.
medication, birth control,
Which
for
is bad for your
however
body.
many years that causes so many other long-term side effects.
Correct.
Or they rather implant me with an IUD, so I got to walk around with something in me for some foreign object in me
Right.
for
Yeah.
5 years
Correct.
until menopause happens when
Correct.
I'm maybe 50, 60, and like nature
Yeah.
takes its course. Like if I'm trying to say like no, I don't want to, and I'm trying to be proactive about it. Like this is my body. Let me
Have
do
say
it.
so.
Let me
Yeah.
do what I want
I don't think
to do
God
with
like
it.
that. I don't
You
know.
don't think God
I
like
don't
that?
think God likes that. I don't know.
Well,
That was the whole reason. Because man was
I'm not
made
like-
first, right?
You said what?
Man was made first,
What
right?
are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why are you doing this man women thing? What you trying to do to me, man?
Here's the thing. Yes, God wants
Trying
us
to put
to
some fuel in you.
procreate. I get that. But in the same breath, that's not these times.
What you mean?
Like my grandmother,
Uh-huh.
25 kids. They was
Is
there
that an
too.
exaggeration?
No, no, it's my great grandmother. I'm wrong. My great grandmother, 25 kids.
That is
Because back
wild.
then,
I thought my
here's the
great grandma
thing.
with 11 was bad.
Those kids were helping on the farm.
Right.
They were
True,
working.
true.
So they had a reason to do it. Now, especially right now, you want me to come out here popping 4 babies? Dude, I'm barely taking care of myself.
No, I don't want you popping
No,
4
no.
babies. But if you,
But
what
check
I'm saying
that.
is, I don't want you popping 4 babies. But if you don't want to pop 4 babies, you probably should be having protected
So
sex.
then let me tie it up. That's
no,
what I'm saying.
how
I can't tie it
about
up.
how about you do the more simple Because
And
that's,
what?
Why?
that's
Simple for
irreversible,
who though?
right?
That doesn't hurt
Wait a
you.
minute. No,
Yeah,
I'm saying like it's
irreversible.
irreversible, right?
Yeah.
So if they
No, tire and tubes are not irreversible. If you got the cord,
Yeah, you can
go back in
untie
there,
it. You
Oh,
just
you
can't
can
get them cut and burnt.
Yeah.
You get them cut and burnt, then
You
you
could've
done.
cut
Okay,
and
I
burnt.
don't
And
know
that,
process.
but
I
that's
always
out of
thought that
pocket.
was
Insurance
a-
ain't paying
Yeah,
for
see,
that.
you
always thought that was a
ain't there yet,
permanent
player.
move.
Even with using a condom, it's
That's
not
not
100%.
Yeah, them things
that
break, boy.
0.1%.
Thing fall off.
You got that 0.1%.
Listen, we ain't even gonna go into that today.
You got that 0.1%. Like it's
Things
not.
happen.
I don't think they're, and I don't know the exact statistics or numbers or anything, but I'm willing to say that I highly doubt that there are a lot of kids that were born from protected sex.
One of mine was
Nah.
like real
How
talk.
protected was?
But she
You know
poked
you
the
got
hole in
those
the condom.
You see that? You see that?
The first one, no, the first one
Uh-huh.
was a surprise because I'm like, Tim, I didn't want no kids. I wanted to gallivant around the world. I don't even like kids,
Right.
and it get real shaky when you talking about more than my kids because I be like, God didn't give me that patience. So the first one, we were protected.
Right.
Because I was scared to get any kind of disease. I was scared to have kids. And then all of a sudden, what you mean, sir? I'm pregnant. This can't
Two
be.
lines
then
on the
again and
test.
again.
Yeah, and then at that point, I'm like,
Well, fuck
this
yeah,
is
I'm like,
like-
what you going?
That doctor,
It's
you come in the
party
office and I
started.
ask you, did you have this kid protected? You say, yeah, and I'm just gonna look at you like,
with that.
Hey,
one,
that's
I
like
did.
coming to the
on.
doctor's office.
You don't
Hi,
have to lie
tell
to
us
me.
did you smoke?
But I mean, it just all goes back to, as a woman, my body should be my body.
right.
Correct.
And so when you're saying, again, going back to the first thing while we're here, more than a mom, I want you to understand, as a woman who has kids, I need you to take care of you
Absolutely.
all the way around,
Absolutely.
mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Because again, if you out there doing you and you're a little off, them kids are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not telling my moms, hey, don't take care of these kids. I'm not telling you to leave them unattended. I'm not telling you to do any of that. I'm telling you to just give yourself some time.
Right.
And I tell my moms this biggest thing. If I can't get you to give yourself an hour, I can't get you to do anything else. I can't get you to come to my event. I dang sure can't get you to take a momcation with me. And I can't get you to love you. Like, again, 24 Andresia, 41 Andresia is two different people.
Right.
And at 41, I'm learning who I am.
Right.
So I'm supposed to wait till I got 5 more years before my baby is 18. So now you want me to explore my body and explore what I like
Right.
and go out and do it? No.
Being drunk at 45.
Yeah, that point, because how I was turned up at 21, I can't turn up at 41. That's a different.
I definitely
different
do think it's
situation.
important though, because I tell a lot of my female friends all the time, like, you don't do anything to make yourself happy. Like, what have you done to go out and enjoy yourself lately? Like,
And
all you
that's-
do is
yeah.
just like
And
tend
that's
to
the
your kids,
message.
So, and I even say that to my son's mom all the time. Like, you don't do anything to make yourself happy. Like, it's impossible for you to be happy in life if you're not intentionally doing things to make yourself happy.
Absolutely.
You just, subconsciously living life as a mom or
Yeah.
just
And
as a
that's-
woman or as a person in general.
Right. Or when you ask them, like, what makes you happy? And they're like, oh, my kids. And it's just like,
Weird.
but what
That's
else?
a weird answer to me. I swear. I don't.
Yeah, but it's
hearing
like,
that.
well, what else makes you happy?
Yeah.
But think about this:
Yeah.
if you meet a woman, for the most part, say you're in a corporate environment,
Okay.
and they're introducing themselves. How does it normally start? Hi, I'm Andresia. I'm the mom of 4. I like this, that, and the other. Who the hell are you outside of the kids? That's what I want them to focus on. So again, I'm Andresia. I love to dance. I'm adventurous. I want to skydive.
I don't
Oh,
tell.
by the way, I got 4 kids at home.
I don't tell nobody about my kid.
Nobody.
I ain't got.
Okay,
And
Dad.
You got
and,
kids?
and men usually
I ain't got-
men
I ain't
usually
No,
do.
but they mama do.
They bad.
Men usually will. You know
Okay.
how many times like
Badass kid.
I'm getting to know somebody and I'm like, oh, do you have any kids?
No, she
well,
do.
Then why you gotta ask all that?
No, I ain't gonna do
You
all
don't
that.
have any kids?
Yeah, I ain't gonna
Do
do
you?
all
I ain't
You
gonna do
not?
all that. But I'm be
you
like,
got
I'm be like, I got some, but
There's 2 different types of
you don't
men.
want to take mine to the park.
You got 2 different types of
Y'all
men.
bad. My son don't like nobody. So, hey.
yeah, he really
So
don't.
it's
So-
just go ahead.
So definitely. So what's the future of More Than a Mom Network, and what can we look forward to these moms, and how can they get more involved in the organization and the network?
Absolutely. We are looking to get out of Tampa.
Okay.
Like, definitely more online. If I have to be big and think goal-wise, I would love to say that we have organizations of More Than a Mom in every state, moving around, and then we come together once a year. That's the goal.
Okay.
is just to give moms that opportunity to know you're not by yourself. Our biggest thing for this year, again, is going international, getting out there so more moms know how to contact us. We're all on Instagram, on Facebook, in our More Than a Mom network. And my biggest project, I haven't even released it to Tiff yet, is to start a nonprofit. Damn.
Right.
She didn't get it yet.
Got the
Is to do
exclusive.
yeah, you got the exclusive. Is to
Only
do-
on By Any Means podcast.
is to do a nonprofit, and this nonprofit is for that college woman that gets pregnant.
Okay.
And now her mind is like, okay, I gotta leave college because I have kids.
Yeah.
That's what happened with me. I got pregnant while I was in college, and it was like my life was ending because I got pregnant.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to give them that resource and be able to help them. I needed I'll never forget it, $755 to pay for the rest of my class. I had to decide, was I gonna do that or take care of these kids? And at that time, I only had one. I was just pregnant. I'd already been put out of school. I couldn't go back because I never had the $755. So they got all these programs for teen moms. I've never seen a program for a
the
mom
college.
in higher education that's like, yo, we're going to help you so that you continue to go to school.
That's facts.
Here's a
That's
resource.
true.
Let me help you finish this up. Like, I've been there through it all. I've been a single mom. I've been a homeless mom. I've been a PTA mom. I've been a mom that's been sick. Never did anybody say, here you go, let me, just show me. You ain't got to give me, show me, I'm gonna get out there and get it for myself.
Gotcha.
So in the midst of all that, I want them to know you can be a woman while you're being a mom.
Great.
That's good. That's good.
You have any input? Creative director?
Right, I'm just learning about that. I got nothing to say about that.
Cause
Like,
this shit didn't even know me.
Right. Yeah. She was doing all that.
payback. I feel, no, I'm just, I believe in her vision. And like I told her when she was trying to put it down and do something crazy, over the last few months, I was like, girl, if you don't sit down and go back and put your focus into what your passion is, I think if you come to an event, you will see what More Than a Mom looks like. We had an event last night, and there was a young lady there who was for her first time, and she was just like, I never get out amongst other moms. Right. And she was so shy and quiet. She couldn't even look at us when she walked in the door.
Wow.
And by the end of the night, she was like, how do I sign up for Costa Rica?
That's awesome.
Because she was, and the event was 2 hours. And so, I believe in it. There's so many like amazing women who are more than moms, literally, who you can network with, connect with in the organization. And so, no, I'm going to ride with her till the wheels fall off because it's needed. It's needed here in Tampa. It's needed here. It's needed all over.
Yep.
So
Definitely. So give us your social media handles.
We are More Than a Mom Network on Instagram and Facebook group. And then I'm Recovering Momaholic. What is it? Adventures with Dresa on IG. Tiffany is
TNH Consulting, TNH_business_consulting on Instagram. I'm also a mama bear and her cub, which is where I do a lot of my advocacy work for autistic kiddos in the Black community. So both of those are on Instagram. A mama bear.
And touch a little bit on that while we're here real quick.
A mama bear and her cub. It started because I needed an outlet. I'm a writer. That's my creative outlet. I write, and so once I started on that journey with my son, I decided to just kind of start journaling. A lot of it was for me because, like I said, I was doing research, so I wanted to document everything. But I also wanted to just it's a gift to him, really, that he can see how far he's come since the very beginning. And so I started blogging and putting that out there, and it really just took off. Because when you look up autism or autistic children on the internet, usually they are white boys, little white boys. You don't see a lot of Black girls. And you don't see a lot of little Black boys. So nobody looked like my son, nobody looked like me, and I couldn't relate to, the rich white family with their autistic child that had access to everything. And so I just wanted to give them an outlet for that. And so I work with, it's all over the world because I have a girl that I'm in contact with in Nigeria, and I have a Black girl who is in Norway.
Wow.
With her little boy, and he's autistic, and she gets no services there.
Wow.
And so again, just like having access to somebody that looks like their kids and somebody that looks like them has been helpful. So I do that, in my
Great.
spare time.
Great. Well, we definitely, you know what I'm saying, appreciate y'all. I know myself included with OC, he was able
Wonderful
to,
conversation.
yeah, he was able to get his hairs on his back to stand up. So
I always like to have conversations with the opposite sex, just because like there seems to be such a disconnect between us these days.
correct.
And until we figure out that disconnect, like the world is just going to keep spiraling or going headed. in a
And they will
spiral.
continue to use us against each other.
Exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
Facts.
Yes. So that means we're doing a collaboration with More Than a Mom. And
I'm ready. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Listen, we always trying to collaborate.
ready.
I don't
but
think I
we-
know everything, but I definitely like, to
You
ask
checked me
questions.
today. You got
and-
me today. You do a little something. Like I like to don't talk too much because you talk a lot. You got me today. You got me shut up for a second.
Okay, he earned his dinner. Okay,
He earned it today. He earned that today.
Well, I
Definitely.
definitely appreciate you ladies coming onto the show and everything.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely look forward to future collaborations.
Nice.
Definitely. And y'all already know, man, this is By Any Means Podcast. I ain't get to shout my guy out earlier, Trapping Vintage on the hat, the polo. OC said it made my arms look
I
big,
never
so
said that.
so I'm good with it. But Street Consultant, the Power Father, and we out.